Hey guys, Paracel Dog Training here. I want to make this video for any potential clients or anybody interested in working with me about what I feel is probably the most misunderstood dog training tool, which is the prong collar. Now, anyone who does a session with me, the first session I always include a brand new prong collar, a brand new leash, okay, and oftentimes a can of pet corrector spray. But we're going to focus on the prong collar for today. So this is the typical prong collar that I recommend. Okay, it's an easy on prong collar. Once I size it properly for the dog, it's very easy. All you got to do is click it. Your leash goes here. You never have to worry about opening the prongs. Okay, a lot of prong collars you have to actually pull the prongs open. If you get them at like the Pet Smarts and the Petcos, they're really difficult to open. So I'm not a big fan of those collars. The Herm Sprenger collars are great collars, but those also you have to open the prongs. And okay, when you open the prongs, if you don't put the prongs in back properly, the collar can technically pop off. So that's why I do like this collar, the Tighten Easy On, where once you get the right fit, it goes over the dog's head, it closes, all right? Now, that would be for a larger dog. For a smaller dog, I use a smaller prong collar. And for little dogs, or people who are a little nervous using it, I might first introduce a plastic one. Okay, not nearly as effective for bigger dogs, so I tend to like to just go straight to what works. Now, one of the misconceptions about the prong collar is a lot of people feel like it's cruel or it's mean. And I often say, I'm the first one to admit, it does look cruel or mean. It doesn't look like a something nice that you'd want to put on a dog. But you have to look at it from the dog's perspective, all right? When the dog was young, when the dog was a puppy, how did its mother communicate with it? The mother would nip the dog's neck, okay? If the puppy was nursing too hard on their mother or playing too rough with their litter mates, the mother would correct the dog, okay? And that was with their teeth. The mother would not have, or the dogs, I should say, would not have harnesses on them. They wouldn't have any pressure on their body, okay? So a lot of people that have, issues with prong collars, they'll go to a harness. They don't want to try the prong collar. The harness actually will encourage the dog to pull in almost all cases. If you think about sled dogs or police dogs or protection dogs, they're often trained to build drive, to build their anxiety. They're often trained with a harness because it actually disengages them from the handler, from the person walking them. The prong collar, on the other hand, communicates to the dog like a dog, all right? So you have to not humanize the animal and say, oh, this is cruel. You don't want to judge a book by its cover. And just to give you a little demonstration here, I'm going to put the prong collar on my arm, okay? And I'm going to pop it as hard as I can. And you can see here, I'm not in any kind of discomfort. It's not breaking the flow of the syntax of words, all right? All it's doing is giving me a quick pinch. And the key to realize that too is it's giving a universal correction around the dog's neck. Whereas you'll see dogs walking on just a regular collar and all the pressure is on their throat, okay? All the pressure is on their trachea, which makes it very difficult, obviously, for the dog to breathe. And over time, will cause tracheal damage. I have one of my pit bulls in there, Sasha, who lived at the shelter over 5 years. They don't use prong collars in the shelter because people think it's mean. But she was walked on a regular collar where her throat collapsed. She actually has serious tracheal damage. Now, I walk her on the prong collar still, and she doesn't pull, and there's no pressure on her throat because, again, it gives a universal correction around the neck, all right? So I'm going to post this video on all my social media, and I'm also going to leave it open to comments. And as long as everybody's respectful, I'll be happy to answer any questions, concerns, comments you have. I'm actually, when I talk to clients or people contact me and they have, some apprehension about using the prong collar, I often say just watch my before and after videos. I'm very transparent. A lot of the issues people are having are fixed in 1, 2, or at most 3 sessions. And leash pulling should really be fixed within one session if you follow everything that you're supposed to do. As far as fit, if you put the prong collar on your dog, just make sure it's up high, right under their jawline, okay, behind the ears. A lot of people use the prong collar. They're too big and they're drooping down. And that's, the dog's strongest part of the body if it's hanging down too low. So make sure if you do use the prong collar, it's up high, it's not down low. If there's a fit where it's sliding down, and even if you take a link off, it's too tight, you can actually put the regular collar behind the prong collar to help keep it up. Personally, I rather that when you're introducing the collar and using it for the first few weeks, if it's too tight, or if you have a choice between too tight or too loose, I personally prefer it to be a little too snug. And then you can always add a link once the dog understands and is walking at a much better heel at your side. So that's it. Again, that's the prong collar 101. And you can see again, is no discomfort, okay? Do I feel it? Yeah, of course I feel it. But not nearly as much as I would if I had constant tension of choking on a leash. To me, that's abusive. If you don't want to open up to trying a training tool that can better communicate to your dog because you have an issue with it. And then what happens is the dog never learns to walk properly. And then the dog starts developing behavior problems in other areas, including in your home. Because a walk is oftentimes where the relationship is really built. So when I work with these clients who have dogs that are zigzagging all over the place on walks and they're leash reactive, they're not total angels in the home. It's all connected. It all goes together. So when you have fallout in one area, you often have, unfortunately, fallout in other areas too. So that's it. That's Paracel Dog Training. That was the prong collar 101. I'll do another one of these videos. I'll do a live and take questions maybe later this week. And then I'll do a longer video where I talk about the benefits of the e-collar, which I don't recommend to all clients. It's not necessary for every dog. But for dogs that you want to have off-leash freedom, for dogs that, are really causing some potentially serious issues in the home or outside, I do recommend the e-collar. And there's a very specific, humane way to introduce that as well. So, Paracel Dog Training, if you need any help, don't ever hesitate to reach out.